It's week 3 of the 5 to 10k program. Hope you've enjoyed your first 2 weeks and that you managed to do the uphill test, the challenge, in week 2. If you didn't manage to come along to that run, find a hill somewhere near where you live and run up it. It has to be something that goes on for about a kilometre. That's the key thing. It's not just 50 metres up a brae. You want something that's going to keep you running for an extended period. Now, you don't have to run the whole thing. Run when you can, walk when you have to. But over the next 10 weeks, you'll find that you'll be able to run further uphill, and uphill runs become much more comfortable. Never become easy, but they will become more comfortable. Okay, so this week we're thinking about shoes and our biomechanics, and we'll start to think about strengthening exercises. Strength and flexibility. It's now called strength and conditioning. Is an important part of being an efficient runner. Now, we don't particularly focus on that in the 5 to 10 program, but we do have a lot of videos on our YouTube channel which show you exercises that you can do to improve your core strength in particular. So have a look at some of these. The final thing that we want to look at this week is a really interesting concept, and it's called visualization. So let's start with that one. Visualizing yourself as a better runner. If you look at, I'm not interested in golf, but I've seen golf on the television, and I know that when golfers line up, they're not taking their stroke, but their club is going back and forward, their putter is going back and forward, and you think, I wonder what that is. Now, for ordinary golfers, they're probably lining up, where they're going to hit it. But professional golfers, particularly those at the top end, they don't need to do that. They just know. They've done it so much that they just know how to line up. What they're doing is visualizing the hitting of the ball. They're visualizing, when I hit this ball, where is it going to go? They can picture it. It's going way over there. How far is it going to go? By visualizing where they want the ball to go and how far they want the ball to go, their brain converts that into knowing the force and direction that they need to hit the ball. I know that sounds crazy, but that's in essence what they're doing. Their experience gives them a massive database, if you like, from which they can draw subconsciously. I've done this before, this is how I can do it again. I've done this before, this is how I can improve on how I did it before. All sorts of ways that you can look at this. So, similarly, if you look at sprinters, when they're doing 100 metres, they're on the start line, they're down, ready to go, and they're looking ahead. Are they just looking at their lane? Are they looking at the finish line? No, they're visualising it. They're running through in their head how they're going to run this race. What do they feel like? What are the sounds like? How is my heart going to feel? What's my vision going to be like? They're going through the experience before they actually do the race. This is what visualisation is all about. So, how do you create an image in your mind of what you want to achieve in practice? So you want to focus on the experience that you want to experience and forget about what might actually happen. I want to run up that hill. How am I going to feel when I'm running up the hill? My legs are going to feel tired. I'm going to be breathing hard. It's going to be sore. It's going to be uncomfortable. Can I do it though? Can I do it? This is how I would feel if I'm doing that. So if you've never run the Kilgour Crags last week, then by visualising what it's like to run up another steep hill, a different steep hill, then you could prepare yourself for what you're about to undertake. Now that you've run up the Kilgour Crags once, then you've got something to base your visualisation on. Next time we come to do that, and we will do it again, you're at the bottom, you'll be able to close your eyes and think about the last time. In week 2, I went up it. I was able to run to here. How did I feel? Reliving the experience. When I got to the point where I felt I had to stop, how did I feel? Could I have kept going? I bet you think afterwards, when you got to the top, you would say, yes, I could have kept going longer. Now your brain knows, I can do it to there, but it also knows that you can go further. You can keep it up for longer. So next time, instead of stopping again where you did last week, you'll be able to go a little bit further because your brain is ready for it. It's preconditioned. Your body is ready for it. Your brain is going to send all the right signals. You're using all your senses. Go back to thinking about that run up the hill. What did you see? What did you hear? What did you feel? What did you smell? If you got it wrong, if you did something wrong and think, I shouldn't have done that, don't focus on that. Put that to the side. Forget about that. You want to have positive imagery, saying, I can do this. I can do this. I'm not going to make that mistake again because I know how to avoid making that mistake. And then visualise yourself not making the mistake again. You can model what you intend to do, even if you've never done it before, by watching other people. So if you've never done a half marathon before, you can look at the coverage of the Great North Run or London Marathon or whatever, and look at these other people and say, okay, so how does it look as though they're going? What's their running form like? What is their pace like? Does it look like they're putting in a great deal of effort? All of these things so that you can build your own mental model of what you expect it to be like. Challenge your negative preconceptions and replace them with the positive ones. So visualization is a really, really powerful tool that's in your armoury. Sage and Sandy, they have an interesting video this week, running further and faster by increasing distance. That's exactly what we're doing in the 5 to 10k program. Now essentially what Sage is saying is that if you want to run further or faster and you're currently running 20 miles a week, then go up to 30 miles a week. If you're doing 30 miles a week, go up to 40. If you're doing 80, go up to 100. So it doesn't matter, where you are just now and where you think you should be. Just do a little bit more. If you're only doing typically we do 3 5Ks a week, which is about 10 miles. So you're already going to be increasing by just doing the program, but maybe you can preempt the program. Maybe you can go out and you can say, for example, this week you'd be doing 3 5k runs. Maybe you could say to yourself, I'm going to try and do 6k runs or 7k runs, or do 2 5k and just try a 7k and see what happens. Don't go any further than that. If you have a massive jump up, then you're inviting injuries and other kinds of problems. But that's the basic premise, is aim to build your distance. Build your distance, and just by doing extra miles each week, then you will become more efficient. Therefore you'll be able to run faster, and therefore you'll be able to run further. Now, you don't have to do anything extra this week. 3 5-minute runs, 5-kilometre runs, that's fine. But next week we will be going up. We'll be doing 6-kilometre one, and then we'll be doing 7-kilometre ones, then 8-kilometre, 9 kilometres, and eventually reach our target of 10 kilometres. So we're using this principle of, by increasing the distance, we're able to run more efficiently just by increasing distance, without doing anything else, without thinking about a running form, without visualisation, for example, without knowing anything about biomechanics or energetics. Just running a little bit further, you will get more efficient. Okay, science of ultra. We're talking about shoes and biomechanics. We said, I touched on this a bit last week, where I was talking about how my preferred shoe is a Hoka. And it took me a lot of years to gravitate towards that, but other people just really can't get on with Hokas. Maybe they prefer Saucony or Brooks or all sorts of shoes that are out there. The shoe that's right for you is the shoe that's right for you, not necessarily what's right for anybody else. Remember, we said last week, everybody is different. There are different heights, weights, different lengths of leg, all that kind of stuff. So what suits one person might not suit somebody else. Similarly, although I like Hokas for both road and trail, using a trail version of one make might not necessarily mean that the road shoe by that same make is going to be suitable. You might find that a road shoe by some other make is going to be much better for you. So don't say, I'm a Hoka person, or I'm a Brooks person, or a Saucony person, or whatever. You need to find the shoe that's right for you, whatever that is. The only thing that I would say is that if you're changing shoes, then there's a well-known adage that you should never wear new shoes when you're doing a race. You wouldn't start a half marathon with new shoes on, or a marathon with new shoes on. That actually isn't correct. There's truth there, but it has to be qualified. What they really mean by that is a different type of shoe. So if you can imagine the elite runners who are sponsored by Nike, let's say, are they going to start their next marathon by wearing worn out shoes, the shoes that they've been training in? No, they're going to be starting with nice new ones, because you get maximum cushioning, maximum grip, maximum overall effect. They will never start on old shoes. So that proves that the simple adage, never start a race on new shoes, just isn't correct. What they mean is, don't change your type of shoe. So if I'm running in a Hoka and I'm going to start doing the Glenrothes 10k road race, I wouldn't turn up in a Nike shoe, because the design of the shoe, the way the shoe works, is going to be different to a Hoka. Okay, the most important thing is not the weight. The Science of Ultra episode talks about this, that people talk about a light shoe and a heavy shoe. People can't actually tell the difference when they're running. The research shows that. What we need to watch out for is the position of our foot in the shoe. So if this is the sole of my shoe and this is my foot, I can have a flat shoe, which is my heel is at the same level as the ball of my foot, or we can have one with quite a large drop, maybe 10 millimeters or more. You can have an in-between one, maybe 5 or 6 millimeters. Now you can understand that if it's like wearing high heels. A woman that wears high heels, if she's not used to them, then probably when she first uses them, she'll be wobbling, won't she? It's much harder to keep your balance when your ankle is elevated. If it's down here, you've not got so much cushioning, so you're going to have much greater impact. How is your body going to react to that? Now, the main thing about your heel drop is just the way that your mechanics work. Again, imagine that. How can I do this? I can't really. Your leg comes down and your foot is horizontal, so it's like that, isn't it? Your foot is like that. Your leg comes down and your foot is here. So your weight is going to be distributed a certain way. If you find that your foot is essentially going like that, then your weight is going to be moving across, because you need your point load from the top of your leg down to the ball of your foot, or your midfoot, has got to be one vertically on top of the other. Okay, so the more heel drop, the more you're running, leaning over a little bit. It's probably imperceptible, but your body can detect that, and the stresses on your muscles are going to be different. It could be that your new shoe takes you a little bit more to one side, in which case your muscles on the outside of your legs is going to be working harder than the ones on the inside, and they're not used to that. They're used to sharing the load in a certain way, and that's really what we mean about not using new shoes on a new race, on a race rather. So be cautious. And this is the main thing, is your heel drop. You'll find that in the specifications for any shoe. So going from a Hoka with 8mm drop to a Nike with an 8mm drop, that should normally be okay, but you still need to try them out before you go for your race, because there could be other subtle differences. What you definitely don't want to do is go from a high heel drop down to flat, a zero drop. That's definitely the worst thing you can do, because the way that your Achilles tendon works, it's going to be stretched a lot more. That's where you can get significant injuries. Okay, you can have different needs of shoes depending on the type of run that you're doing. Difference between a jog and a sprint. A sprint, you probably don't need as much cushioning. You don't want as much cushioning as you do if you're going to do a long distance run, which effectively is a fast jog. Where does a jog start and a run? Where does a jog finish and a run start? It's impossible to say. Again, because everybody is different. For some people, running at I don't know, let's say 8 minutes for a mile, 5 minutes for a kilometre, that would be, for me, that would be a fast run. For somebody else, that would be a jog. It's coming back to this thing, everybody is different. You can't put numbers on things. It's why, as we're going through the programme and we talk about level of effort rather than pace, we don't talk about how fast you're running, it's how much effort are you putting in, because that's unique to you, that your pace per unit of energy or effort. You running at 70% effort, it's the same as somebody else running at 70% effort, but they might be going faster than you or slower than you. Running in a swimming pool, that's quite interesting. I remember doing that when I had a problem with my feet the year that I did my first marathon, and I wasn't able to run. So I went along to the local swimming pool in Cooper, got into the water and went through the process of running without actually running. So it helped to keep my muscles strong. You can do the same thing by cycling, a non-impact version of the same mechanics. So that was the science of ultra. So this week we've talked about shoes and biomechanics, increasing your distance to improve your efficiency, so helping to run faster or further for no extra effort, and we talked about visualisation preparing your brain and helping your brain prepare your body for what is to come and to help you to do it better. In the resources, we've got Nate from the Run Experience giving you some good exercises to help strengthen your calf. That will help as you're coming down hills, which is important. You have to understand that doing these exercises, although we only show them once for 1 week, you're not going to strengthen your calves by doing these exercises for 1 week. You have to do them regularly. But by building up a regime, by mixing what you did in 1, 2 and 3 and what you'll do in weeks 4, 5 and 6, and by mixing these and keeping doing them, gradually you will find that you build your strength and your flexibility. So that's it for this week. Hope you enjoy your downhill run, and we'll see you next time.